Okay, so I told you guys I would finish with part 2 of my story time and just me talking about how everything. So I stopped off telling you guys that, you know, my brother's baby mother saw the bruise on my arm, and she told my brother, and it was one of the only times that I saw my brother get emotional and like show some emotion, and he was pretty much like, where your keys at? Is he at home? And you know, he did what brothers do. We just gonna leave that there. My brother's not alive anymore, God rest his soul. But so yeah, so leaving the relationship. No, baby. You try. You Missy.
Yes.
You come here.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Alright, go play with the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Leaving the relationship was, for some reason, I was hurt. Like, I was hurt. Like, even when my brother did what brothers do, like, I was hurt. And I couldn't figure out why. I was emotional. Like, why do I care that this nigga just, like, got what he deserved, pretty much. And, you know, I was just emotional. I was an emotional wreck for a long time. And so what bugged me, and this is so last minute, but it took a minute for me to want to talk about this. So what bugged me about the Basketball Wives, I don't know if you've seen it, but anyways, I'll just give y'all a brief recap. So Evelyn Lozada was asked that if you were on a deserted island, something like that, and you trust and you had a cell phone and you only had one of your ex's numbers and you like had to trust this ex to come save your life, who would you call? And she was like, Chad. Right? Chad. Everybody knows the story with her and Chad. He supposedly headbutted her, and that's how their marriage ended, because she was in a domestic violence relationship, whatever. So this is what bugged me, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only woman who's been in a domestic violence situation who feels like this. If something was to happen to me and I'd be deserted and it was a choice between life and death, I probably would choose to just like die, because I'm not calling the dude who put his hands on me, the dude who, come here, Pooh, the guy who put his hands on me, the man who beat me, the man who stabbed me, the man who left a Timberland footprint on my body, not once, not twice, but multiple times. I'm not calling him to save me. I don't want you nowhere around me. Like, I don't want you near me. I don't want you in my presence. Like, if I don't have to see you ever again a day in my life, I'm good with that. So if I only had a cell phone and it was one of my ex's numbers programmed in it, I would pray to God that it would not be that ex, because I got a lot of exes. So there's a lot to choose from. I would not call him for nothing. So that was my issue with like that whole statement. Like, so was it as bad as, you just made me think, like, was it as bad as it seemed? Why would he be the one that you would trust to come save your life if it was what it was? Like, I don't understand that. And that's not to judge her for feeling the way she feels. That's not, none of that. But all the extra, it leaves the door open for speculation. And not like she should care, but nobody knows that story. Like, only them know that story. Only him and her know what really happened in the car that day in front of their house. Only them two. But it just leaves it up in the air, like speculation, like, you know, why? Because now, in my situation, this dude tormented me for almost 2 years after we got out the relationship. For almost 2 years, he tormented me. He changed my cell phone number. Didn't matter. He called my house all the time. He like spam emailed me a bunch of stuff. He would call usually I was the only one at home at my mom's house. My dad was there, but he didn't answer the phone. So he would call from different numbers. I'd pick up the phone. He'd be like, I know this is you. I'm going to kill you when I see you. If I ever see you again, your life is over. Like for almost 2 years straight. And because I did not have his information as far as where he was located, the police didn't care. Every time I tried to do restraining orders and stuff like that, you have to have his address. Well, at least in the county. I lived in DeKalb County at that time, DeKalb County in Georgia. You have to have his address. You have to have his address. You have to have his information. And I'm like, but I don't want his information. I just want to be able to keep him from getting in touch with me. Like, I don't want his info. I don't want it. So he tormented me for 2 years after that. And it was rough, me getting over it after that. And I don't know, like, I think it's known on my channel that I'm a Christian or whatever. Like, not or whatever. That's what I am. I'm a Christian. But I have been promising a friend that I would go to church with her. And I never went. You know, I was in that situation. I never went. And so when I got out this situation, my thoughts was, man, I kept telling her, that was the first thing I did. Like after everything calmed down, I called her and was like, hey, can you pick me up for church on Sunday? And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, like I want to go, like pick me up for church on Sunday. And she picked me up for church or whatever. And if I keep looking up, it's because the screen is anyways. And she picked me up for church or whatever. And I got to church. And you know, sometimes certain things it's just meant for you. And I felt like that day it was meant for me to be there. It was meant for me to have the feeling to want to go. It was meant for her to answer the phone. It was meant for her to pick me up. Because when I got there, my camera's overheating, but when I got there, like I told you guys in the previous, I was so angry with God, like so angry with him. And I got there, and at that church, you know, when you come in, you kneel down and I guess you kind of lay whatever you're going through. You lay it on the altar, and then you go have your seat. Come here, baby, let me fix it. So that day, you know, I had a lot to lay on the altar. And when I got to the altar and I laid on the altar, you know, I got rebuked. Like, and if you're a Christian and you don't know what it feels like to be rebuked by God himself, like, it don't feel good. And all I could do was cry, because he was like, daughter, how dare you blame me for the situation that you're in? You have freedom of choice. You made that choice. I gave you every sign that you needed to not be with him, and you chose to be with him. It was like your daddy didn't like him, your brother didn't like him, your mama didn't like him. He pushed you. Everybody, your daddy told you he was crazy. My mama told me exactly. She said, Puddin', my mom calls me Puddin'. Puddin', I'm telling you, he's crazy, and what's going to happen is he's going to push you first, and because you're female, you're going to forgive him. And then he's going to do it a little more, and you're going to forgive him again. And then it's going to keep going from there. And I kid you not, it happened in that order. If you watched my the part 1 of this, it happened just like that. He pushed me first, and I forgave him. Then he punched me. My battery only has 6% left, so we're going to try to make this quick. But, so like I laid on the altar, but God just pretty much like he reminded me of the story about the guy who's lost at sea, who was like, who he got a helicopter came, he's like, no, I'm waiting on God. A boat came, no, I'm waiting on God. Just things came, he was like, no, I'm waiting on God. And then he died, and he gets to heaven, and he's mad, and he's like, why did you let me die? And God's like, I didn't let you die. I sent you this, 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 and this, and you turned them all down. You made the choice. You chose to turn them all down. So he reminded me of that story, and in that moment, I laid there on the altar the entire church service, just bawling my eyes out. And then the pastor just happened to be preaching about what it means biblically to be a woman and how important it is to be a woman. And so all of that was just meant for me. And now I was 19 when I was in that relationship. I'm 32 now. And I'm just now at a place where I can talk about the dream I had about seeing myself in my casket, and talk about the relationship and not get, I get emotional, but it's not from a place of hurt anymore. It's not from a place of fear anymore. It's from a place of gratefulness that, unlike a lot of females in that situation, I made it over and I made it out and I made it on the other side. Because it's a lot of females that are in those situations who are in their grave today. Like, and that's just the reality of it. There's a lot of females in those situations because it goes unreported, because the police require so much for you to just even get something as small as a piece of paper to say you have to stay so many feet away from me. It's a lot of females in prison because they was just like, well, nobody's helping me. Let me do something to you myself. Let me end my torment myself, who are in prison because, you know, and all they were doing was defending themselves. So now when I talk about it and I get emotional, it's from a grateful place. It's from a thank you God that I made it out place. It's from a thank you God that I'm not 6 feet underground. Thank you God that I'm not behind bars. You know, thank you God that you saved me and you rescued me and you have forgiven me for even being mad at you. You know, so it's from that place that I get emotional now, and it's taken all these years to even get to that point. So I say that to say it really pissed me off when I was watching and made me not even want to watch the rest of the season, or just not even be interested in her character, when, you know, asked the question of, because of so many women that have gone through it and so many women who are no longer here because of it and or behind bars, don't have their freedom, not living a lavish life with money, with Gucci and Versace and Louis Vuitton and Giuseppe's, not living a life like that, but who have given their life, who have lost their life, who have given up their freedom, just trying to get out of this situation. And here you go, you're supposed to be a person of influence, a person of a certain caliber, because, you know, that's what that's the category the world puts you in when you're on TV. And here you go, if you're stranded on an island and you had to only call one of your exes, who would it be? It would be Chad, the guy who supposedly headbutted you, who supposedly the headbutt was the only thing that was publicized, but it was more stuff. But that would be who you call to save you and who you think would save your life in a situation like that. Girl, stop. Ciao, bye. Because if I was in that situation, trust and believe, I'm pretty sure she got a lot of exes. I got a lot of exes, and if it's that one whose number I have, I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna be dead. Period.
Mommy.
Point blank. Ain't no other. I'm just gonna be dead, because I'm not calling him for nothing. If I don't ever see him again a day in my life, I'm good. Like, I'm over it, but I'm good. I don't have to see you. I don't have to be in your presence. I wish him the best of luck. I hope that, you know, God has turned his life around. He ended up dating a girl that I went to high school with, and I messaged her on Facebook and was like, girl, I saw a picture of them on Facebook, and I messaged her and was like, run so far away from him, run. And she messaged me back and got smart with me and was like, I got brothers, blah, blah. I was like, I had a brother too, and it didn't work. So I was like, I had a brother too, and my brother did what he needed to do to him, but he still tormented me for 2 years after that run, and she didn't take my advice. So I wish him the best of luck. I hope that God has changed his life around, arrested his heart, and done some good things for him. And, you know, that's that. But I would not call him to save my life. Period. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening to my story time. Talk to you guys later. Bye.